Hello, I'm Emma of Granola Gear, and I'm so excited to be back with you again today with a fun little video. As promised last week in my podcast, I said I was going to go over this bag right here, this little grab bag I got from Goodwill for $4, and we'd pick through what was in it. There was enough in it, I thought it would be fun to do its own little video about it, and there's some interesting stuff in here. Some of it has labels, some of it doesn't, but this is like a fun little kind of process thing for me. Yeah, I thought we'd go through it together. So let's get into the yarn. I don't often find at Goodwill like grab bags anymore with a bunch of stuff in them. If you do, usually it's like scraps of acrylic and that kind of thing, but I got pretty lucky this time. I could tell it was pretty nice. Sometimes I will find a bag, like it all in a bag, and there'll be like one good skein in it, so it's not worth buying a whole thing of stuff I don't want for one thing I do, but more often than not, I see things maybe grouped in a couple skeins or individually. Depends on the store, depends on how they decided to do it that day. Like there's a wide range of what ends up happening. But yeah, let's look at some of this. So the first thing is there is this Briggs and Little country roving, and I'll put on the screen the stats for these because I don't know them off the top of my head, but we can take a look and I can make some guesses right here. So this is some unspun yarn, clearly, in just this natural white color. There's definitely like some vegetation in it still, which is to be expected. There's 4 strands of the roving in each wrap. I actually have a couple other plates of unspun I've been looking to do a project with eventually that I've thrifted. So this will go into that batch of things. You might see a lot of this and say, oh, there's individual skeins that someone had and got rid of because they didn't know what to do with them. But I kind of collect these over a number of years, and then I'll every couple months I'll pull my stash out, take a look at what I have, and see if I've gotten to the point with maybe a weight of yarn or a certain type of fiber that I could put something together and make something. I'll put a picture on the screen of a Monday sweater that I've made with a whole bunch of different skeins of yarn that I thrifted over a couple of years between like lace and fingering weight. And I managed to make them all look good and do nice and fun stripes. And that's kind of my method is I keep it in stash and then eventually it makes its way out somehow, one way or another, big project or small. But yeah, this is nice. It's very soft. So the other plates that I've gotten, I didn't know exactly how much there was except for by weight, I guess. What does this say? Made in Canada. I've heard of Briggs and Little before. Oh, it's 5 strands, not 4 strands of the roving, 8 ounces. So I've got a couple other plates. I might be getting close enough to a sweater's quantity because I have another big thing of white like this, I think, and then 2 plates of 2 different colors. I don't really, it's hard for me to find patterns for unspun though. I feel like I don't always know, I haven't always been able to figure out what the method for how many strands you should use and all of that is. Let me know if you have any tips in the comments. Next, we've got this really beautiful red here that is from Anfield Farm, made in Scotland, and it's Dorset 100 grams. This looks like it's probably a worsted, maybe it's a DK. We'll find out. Reared and sheared in Kinross, Fife, Scotland. That's pretty cool. Anfield Farm, Scottish mohair. That's awesome. 100% Scottish wool. Oh, it's a DK. Color Passion. Isn't that awesome? That's such a bright, beautiful color. Oh my gosh. How many yards? 205 meters. I definitely have some other DK that could go with this. I'm like looking at my stash and thinking now, this is really like, this is a beautiful, bright red color. I love colors, so I'll use anything. Let's do something unlabeled. Some of these might need a little burn test, but this is definitely some merino right here. Oh, it's so soft. I'm assuming this is bulky or super bulky. Just one of those one ply, super soft merino skeins. I have a bunch of bulky I can use. None of it's this soft merino, but I have a handful of thrifted Lopi skeins in bulky, so maybe we can make this guy work. Been looking at doing a bulky color weight sweater because I think I'm getting close to the point that I'd have enough for that. Oh, just in this beautiful white. Aren't these so delicious looking? I know they pill, but it's just so beautiful and so soft. It's like petting a cloud. Next, we've got 2 skeins of something. These are pretty similar, but a little different. I don't know if they're like different dye lots or different colors entirely. This is hand paint original. It's a Brown Sheep Company yarn, made in USA. It says originally $11.20 per skein, 50-gram skeins. Do 70% mohair, 30% wool. This one is HP 110 Mountain Meadow, and this one is HP 70 Forest Floor. So they are a little different. I don't know what these are. What are these probably? Probably again a DK, I would think. Those are some really nice colors. That would be good color work with something. Wow, another one ply yarn. It's very soft. Sometimes mohair can be scratchy. Sometimes like these yarns tend to be more rustic, but this is really beautiful. Yeah, that's an awesome find. I saw these in there and I was like, oh, $4 for this bag is worth just these guys. And then I got lucky with the other stuff. So that was fun. What else? I don't think I have anything else that's labeled in here, but this appears to be a mohair in this dark blue. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. I'm sure this is enough for, I can probably burn it and see what the center is, but I'm assuming this is a mohair. Maybe it's a Surrey. I've never touched a Surrey. It's not super soft, so I think this is probably a mohair. It feels like the mohair I've experienced before. It's enough for something. Maybe some mittens. I don't know. I don't really do hats and mohair. I don't want an itchy head. I guess maybe these would go together, but there's probably not enough of this. I do have a nitty naughty, so I can do a little, I can rewrap it and see how many yards I have for approximation. What else? We've got this little guy. This little guy is a little one ply, very pretty, kind of tweedy in this red. This looks like something I've seen before, but I can't quite place it. Looks to be a fingering. Definitely a natural fiber. I'm assuming some kind of wool. Maybe the little tweedy bits are polyamide. You see that sometimes. This is a nice dark red though. It's very pretty. Kind of a muted red with some nice little speckles in there. Oh, there goes a fire truck. What else? I've got, let me see, this skein and a couple little bits I think I can't tell actually. I thought it was a cotton, but no, I'm not sure. Let's actually get a little crazy and pull out a lighter. Well, it's not a synthetic. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. It's a nice, pretty red. It's very soft. It doesn't quite feel cottony. Maybe it's a merino and cotton. It doesn't really give like the super hairy smell. I think that is a cotton actually. I think that's just maybe a really soft cotton. It pulls apart. It's got the kind of brittleness of cotton fibers. What else? This is like a Pima cotton, I think. The skein is sort of falling apart. I'm gonna retwist this actually. It's this nice blue. Ooh, I should have. This is gonna go badly. Oh no. There we go. There we go. This looks like a Pima cotton. Very shiny. Oh, and that last one looked like a worsted weight, I think. Yeah, this is totally Pima. Very shiny. Very slick. Probably a DK. This one, again, I can probably put on my knitting knotty, see how much I have. It's definitely a decent amount. I could probably make a tank top or something out of this, I would think. Couple left. This looks like it's just a basic wool. Another nice dark red. See if we got an end here. I know I'm just like willy-nilly setting stuff on fire in my lap, but gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Oh yeah, that's wool. That smells like burnt hair. It feels like it, but you never know. Probably a DK. See, these are some fun guys in here. This looks like the same thing, but in a green, I think. Those look very similar. Similar size and shape skeins, but also the yarn looks very similar. So I'm assuming those are both a wool. Yeah, these are giving both a wool, I think. Now these couple last ones are a little more mystery, except for this is definitely a cotton. Not a Pima, not something super soft. It's got kind of those little flecks that you see in cotton sometimes, just wound into a ball. Fingering weight, maybe I'll weigh it. Yeah, somebody hand wound it. It's a nice green color though. It's a good color. Just a couple left, a little bit more of that red from the cotton. This guy, you know what? This actually looks like these guys as well. But this one's like an orange tweedy color. I'm assuming this is a wool. It looks like a wool. Ah. Yeah, burnt hair. That's interesting. Maybe it was something else. I don't know. If I don't end up using these, the local yarn store near me actually has it's like a little free library, but you can put craft supplies in it. So sometimes I drop off like single skeins or stuff I'm just not going to use anymore, that kind of thing. So that's a good place to leave it. You know, I think I got lucky with this all being wool. I wasn't totally sure when I picked it up in the bag. I thought some of these skeins that appeared to have been more like a little more commercial, like in a bullet skein type form, not a twisted skein. I thought those might be some kind of like acrylic base, but I really think these are all wool. This is kind of like a pinkish red. Let me see here. I'm doing this just so you know over a saucer for being safe here. Yeah, that's a wool too. Sweet. That's pretty awesome. That was a good pile. There's this tiny scrap of yellow in here. And actually there's this twine too. I figured this might be good for wrapping Christmas presents next year because it's like that pretty kind of red and white twine. But this was a quick little thing, but I thought it would be fun to go over together. I hope you enjoyed. This is just a fun little snippet of stuff that I pick up from the store and then I gotta figure out what to do with. But I usually make a plan. If you want to see what I end up doing with this, though it might be a while, you might see some other thrifted yarns first. Feel free to subscribe, like this if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've ever found some cool thrifted yarn. I've definitely found large quantities before that I've knit almost entire sweaters from, or entire sweaters from. You can get pretty lucky, but I do live in the northeast of the US where it gets pretty chilly, so I think there are more knitters. I've lived in other places and I was not quite as lucky with yarn in, of course, like the more southern states. But I'm from up here, so I'm used to it. I know the good spots, but most of the spots are usually just Goodwill and that kind of like Savers chain thrift stores. I don't have anywhere special that I go really. It's just about going semi-frequently and seeing what they've got, not really having expectations. Sometimes you hit gold and sometimes you find nothing for weeks on end, but this was a really fun pickup. Usually I only get one or two skeins at a time, so I was happy to get this bag. It's a fun little restock for me. Like I said, if you enjoyed, please hit subscribe or like, and we do podcasts every week or every other week, depending on how much I'm making and as far as stuff and what kind of videos I've got in mind. But I hope you have a great day. I hope you've had a happy new year and happy knitting.